Welcome to the podcast, The Gunn Project. I'm one half of The Gunn Project. My name is Thomas. My brother, Tim, is the other half of The Gunn Project. For the first few episodes, it's going to just be me mostly because me and my brother live in two different cities, so we got to try to get the logistics of everything. We might have to do something what Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp do and, do something like that. But for now, you're going to get me for the first few episodes. This is episode 1, the very beginning, and I want to start off by saying that how we operate, logic and facts. We're going to cite sources. We're going to fact check everything. And this is not one of those red pill, blue pill podcasts. It's one of those podcasts to try to get you to see things from a different perspective outside of your own. A podcast to try to get you to have an open dialogue and an honest conversation for those that are willing to have that honest conversation. I'm not in competition with any other podcast. How I feel is it's enough success for everybody to go around. That's how I feel about it. And the very first episode, we're going to talk about, what's been going on. And I should have done this episode a long time ago, probably about a year and a half ago. And I just never got around to it. And so I am. And we're going to start off with it. It's, Black British. I don't want to say they think they're better, but they're always coming for us as Black Americans, whether they're saying that we don't know where we come from, we have no culture, or, just Americans are dumb altogether. I'm going to hit on those 3 points, but the last one, some of us are a little bit slow over here, but I'm still going to hit on it. And then also with Amanda Seal, what she's going through with something versus 20 conservatives, something to that effect or whatever like that. And also Black Americans finding out about Black Scottish people. So I'm going to try to touch on all those subjects, but I just wanted to put that foundation out there first as far as what this podcast is going to be about and how we're going to go about it. Listen, I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'm willing to have an open dialogue, but also I ask you to do this. Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Now, granted, if I'm just wrong, I'm just wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. I'm like, hey, you got me. I'm wrong. My background is going to look like this for a few episodes until I get home because I travel for a living. I'm not in the service industry as far as like truck driving or anything like that, but I do travel for a living. So you're going to see my backgrounds look like with hotel rooms because, hey, I got to get the message out some kind of way, right? Until I set up a spot in my house where I want to record and get a proper mic. So for a long time, what's been going on around the internet is that Black British always go in and tell people, Black Americans, that we don't know where we come from, right? That's what they always say. I watched this guy, Adonis Live. He's been going to London for a long time and doing street interviews, right? So he does these street interviews, and a lot of times through those interviews come up, it's always Black Americans don't know where they come from. Black Americans don't know where they come from. Black Americans have no culture. Americans are dumb. All that kind of sort, right? So I don't know where it started from or why they have this obsession with us, but I have the question. There are a lot of people that have responded to other British people saying the same exact thing, but I felt like they didn't ask the right questions, right? Like not saying that the questions that they asked were wrong, but I feel like there was other questions that should have been asked that they didn't ask, or the ones that I saw didn't ask, I should say. So British people love to say Black Americans don't know where they come from, right? But I wonder why y'all don't have that same smoke when it comes for Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Dominicans. Even though the Dominicans say, me no black, me no black, me no black, even though we can see that they're Black and they have African ancestry in their DNA somewhere, right? Or the Afro-Colombians, the Afro-Panamanians, the Afro-Mexicans, which though they are there, the Afro-Hondurans, the Afro-Belizean, and I don't know if that's how you say it, Afro-Belizean, but I'm going to give you a prime example. Sauce Walker, both his parents are from Honduras. He's Black. He looks Black though, right? Both his parents are from Honduras. OT Genesis, both his parents are from Belize, but he was born in the United States. but he looks black, right? If you were to go to a Brazilian person and say, you don't know where you're from, and the Brazilian person, Afro-Brazilian, will say, sim, eu sou do Brazil, which means yes, I do, I'm from Brazil. That's what they would tell you. So my question is to you, why y'all don't never come for them the same way y'all come from us? Like, I get it. It could be some big bro, little bro type stuff. I don't, sibling rivalry type thing. And the only logical explanation that I can think of why y'all don't come for them the same way y'all come for us, all these other Afro nations, even all the people that come, Barbados. We know for a fact that England brought slaves to Barbados to work them sugarcane fields. We know for a fact. But y'all don't have those same smoke for those people from the islands where Africans were brought to these islands by England or by Portugal, by whomever came through here, the Spanish, whoever. But y'all don't have that for them. Why? The only logical explanation that I can think of is they have some sort of carnival. Each thing has some kind of carnival celebration of their independence type thing. That's the only thing I can think of. And I'm not saying that's why y'all don't come for them. Just the only logical thing that I can think of. But we have a celebration, Juneteenth. Now, I don't know about anybody else's parents, but I know my parents for sure have been going to Juneteenth celebrations way before it became a national holiday. It only became a national holiday in, 2021? Again, the whole nation of the United States benefited from black people of getting a paid day off. And they still mad. Y'all say we don't know where we come from. So I'm gonna use me for an example in my heritage because I can't speak for nobody else. But I can tell you this. Most black people can trace their lineage to whatever state that they're living in if they lived there their entire life. Or they can narrow it down to one state. So a little history lesson if you don't know. Slaves were brought to the Americas, all the Americas, between 1600 and 1610. I don't know the exact date, so I'm going to give you the roundabout because I know how y'all are on the computer. Oh, no, actually, it was 1609 by Christopher Columbus. Listen, I gave you the roundabout date. That's what it is, right? So when they brought the slaves over to the United States, they didn't separate the slaves from what is today Nigeria, what is today Togo, Benin, Dahomey, which I think is Burkina Faso today, or Senegal, or Cameroon, Mali, Ghana. Did I say Nigeria? Nigeria. They didn't separate them. They mixed them all together. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, some of those are French-speaking countries. Y'all do realize the French had land over here in the United States, which was Louisiana, Arkansas, Iowa, Colorado, Oklahoma, the Dakotas, parts of Montana, parts of Wyoming. And then the United States purchased them during the Louisiana Purchase between 1803, 1805, something like that. And don't you think those slaves were a part of that deal, expanding the United States more westward while displacing Native Americans as well? But that's a different story for another topic. But one thing I'm going to tell y'all can talk about what y'all want to say about American education, but what they will do over here is teach you about American history. And if you pay attention, you will learn something. Like, I didn't look up none of this stuff before this podcast. It's stuff that I've already known since high school. But they didn't separate the slaves. Back to the subject. They didn't separate the slaves from, they mixed them all together. So when we do our ancestry DNA, that's why we have so many percentages of different West African countries. So we can't pinpoint one down, right? So they brought them over here to the 1600, mixed all the slaves. They sold slaves from here and there, split up families and everything like that. So particularly my family in particular, my great-grandmother was born in 1925. And before you say, oh, but you was a kid no, I was 16 years old when my great-grandmother died, 2 years from being an adult. So I had a real relationship with my great-grandmother. She was born in 1925 in what is today, present day, Marietta, Powder Springs, Georgia, right? She was the third oldest of 6. Now we know back in those days, they was having kids at a young age. So for the kicks and giggles, I asked my grandmother how old was her grandmother. When she was born, she didn't know when she was born, but she was 100 years old when she died. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to just say she was born in 1900. So that means she was born to sharecroppers, which slavery ended in 1886. Yeah, 1886 over here. So that means her parents were slaves. And then she was a sharecropper. So you see how I can trace my lineage back to slavery to here, well, in Powder Springs, Marietta, Georgia. And the reason why I say that is because my great grandmother, the house that she lived in, was built on land that her mother bought and left her and her other siblings. So her house was 3-4 acres. Then next door was her mother's house. Then the next door after that was her brother's house. All were 3 acres apiece. Who do you think they bought that from? Wasn't black people. So I can trace my lineage directly to slavery, the end of slavery, right there. That's how far Africa is, so far removed from 1600. We're in 2025. So of course, yes, we know that at some point in time our lineage came from West Africa. But to say we don't know where we're from is ludicrous. See, the only reason y'all say that is because most of y'all are only third generation British. And what I mean by third generation, meaning, let's say, for instance, depending on your age, I'm 40. So let's just say if you're my age at 40, let's just say your grandmother left Nigeria, somewhere in West Africa, came to Great Britain. I don't want to say Great Britain, and came to England, right? And let's just say your mother or father was probably born in Ghana or Nigeria, whatever West African country that they came from, but she came to England as a little girl. Then you were born in Britain. So technically, you would be first generation British. But you're closer to Africa because of your lineage, because most of y'all are only 3 generations removed from that. We are hundreds of years removed from West Africa. Hundreds of years removed from West Africa. And to be honest with you, most of the black British people are only there for between 2 things. Possibly 2 things. I'm going to say 2 things originally. World War II. After World War II, which was 1945, I believe. So around the time my grandmother was born, or around my grandmother's age when she was born, World War II decimated the population of England, and they needed workers to work for their labor. So what they do, they reached out to their former colonies. It might have been, they probably still was a colonial territory or whatever of England at that time. You go to Jamaica, the Windrush, right? So all these Jamaicans come because, yes, why wouldn't they leave Jamaica to go to England, where they felt like, okay, I can provide myself with a better life, my future children or my children's with a better life. And so boom, that's how you got a lot of Jamaicans up there. West Africa, same thing. World War II, same thing. They needed workers to work the low-paying jobs. And they reached out to their territories to grant citizenships to people from West Africa, and they looked their territories. The Indians got there for a long time ago with indentured servants, but that's a whole nother subject of history that I'm not trying to go into. So we know how they got there, and the Chinese and all that other stuff. But we're specifically talking about the Black British, right? For the sake of this argument. And also slavery also brought some people from West Africa up there as well. But for the majority in modern day, it was because of World War II, mostly. And they needed people to work in the factories and the low-paying jobs and things like that. So that's how a lot of Jamaicans got there, for those who don't know, and a lot of people from West Africa, right? So I get it. It's easy for y'all to say we don't know where we come from because you can directly trace yours back to West Africa, to Jamaica, or somewhere in the Caribbeans, or wherever it is that you come from. So it's easy to say that versus we are so many years removed and you're only 3 generations removed. 3 people, let me put it like that. 3 people removed. But we know where we come from. We know where we come from, and the lineage that we have. You know what I'm saying? But again, we know that the originator comes from West Africa. So we get it. But don't, y'all gotta stop that. I don't even know what started it. What made y'all want to say we don't know where we come from? Like we're walking around lost, like we're just the lost people and we don't know. We're trying to find a sense of belonging. And you know what's so crazy? That subject right there has made people try to belong to some Caribbean, like a dude I've known since I was in elementary school. All of a sudden he come and tell me yeah, I'm from my, lineage from Jamaica. I'm like, since when? Nigga, your mama's from Texas, your daddy's from Tennessee. They ain't cooked not one Jamaican thing, and I used to go over your house all the time. That cause a problem that make people want to feel like they belong when they really belong to us, Black American culture, Black Americans. So I don't know what started it or why y'all feel that way, but that's the little breakdown. And if you know that history, that we are so far removed from slavery, yet you're still going on with that, then there's something wrong. That's a problem. To me, that's how I look at that. That's a problem. And then you say we have no culture, right? We have no culture. But I promise you, I can go to London right now, today. I can go to a barbershop. I can go to a shoe store, something. Some American rap music is going to get played. Some at multiple times, I don't know who it'll be, but it'll get played in a store, barbershop, a shoe store. But you do the same thing over here, you won't hear any British rap music at all. People, I guarantee you there are a lot of rappers who don't know who some of these British rappers are. They can't even name British rappers. The only British rapper that our youths can name is probably Central C, and that's the only because he was on a song with Lil Baby. That's only because he was on a song with Lil Baby. That's it. Me personally, I follow British rappers. I have AJ Tracy, Stormzy, Skepta, Heady One, M24, Fredo, Tion Wayne, and that's it, right? That's it. That I personally listen to. The only reason I knew about Stormzy prior to me finding out other British rappers, but because of No Life Shaq, he did a reaction video to Heady One, AJ Tracy, and Stormzy, Ain't It Different, and that made me start looking up other people. I forgot Dave. My bad, Dave. I don't want to leave out Dave. My bad. I forgot about Dave. And that's the only reason I started looking into other British rappers, right? So we have no culture. Where did British rap come from? Because I know grime started in the early 2000s, right? Rap music started in the 1980s in New York. The only person that I can tell you that was from England around that time was Slick Rick. And folks didn't even know Slick Rick was from England until he got deported. And, we was like, deported? Because people thought he was from New York. Didn't nobody know Slick Rick was from England until he got deported for something he did. Because I was like, wait, Slick Rick? Now, people around him probably knew, like Dougie Fresh, and all those people probably knew, or some folks in New York knew that, but the rest of the United States didn't know Slick Rick was from England. But grime started in early 2000s, right? To me, what grime is our version of trap music. My thing is, where did British rap come from? How did they had a blueprint. They had the United States blueprint, which rap music is our culture. It's Black American culture. They rap about struggles. They rap about their stories, their life, money, cars, clothes, girls. Sound just a little bit about like British rap. Because trust me, I've listened to M24. I've listened to Heady One. I've listened to Dave doesn't really rap about that. Fredo, he don't rap about that a little bit sometimes, but it's the same exact thing. So where did y'all get that from? Black American culture. And then if you want to take it even further, where rap comes from, you can go all the way back to slavery where it was just hymns. And then after slavery, when they were sharecroppers, it became the blues. Same stuff, rapping about the same stories, the struggles. Go back and listen to Muddy Water, B.B. King, and you will see. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's the same thing. It all just changed, even when R&B came around in the 50s and 60s, and then the 70s came the funk, and then the 80s. rap and, you know, the R&B changed and everything like that. Just go back down the history of music. It's all black culture that y'all portraying. Y'all even use our words. No cap, shouting, slide. Now, granted, you don't use all of them. Even when Carisha came out with period, my mama been saying period for the longest since I was a kid, but it wasn't to the emphasis of what Carisha did. But y'all do it. Black American culture is the most influential culture in the world. Everybody mimics us. I ain't gonna say everybody, but think about it. Rap music is in England. Rap music is in France, Portugal, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, China, Japan, Korea. And I even think I seen a dude from Vietnam and Cambodia on you know, rapping and things like that. Where do you think they got that from? Black American culture. Where you think, even in India, they had like a trap Indian music. You can tell it was trap. The way that people dress, the style, the way we walk, the way we talk. That's our culture. Whether you want to admit it or not, sure, we don't have no garb that we dress up into for a celebration. I mean, what we do? Easter, nigga. We wear Easter Sunday suits. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't have that. No, we don't have a traditional garb that some people would have, like in China or Korea or Japan or even the West African countries. We don't have that. No, we don't. That's just not something that we have. If that's what your definition of culture is, then I'm sorry. That's not just the only thing that defines culture to people. Right? So, but we don't have any culture, but yet y'all rap have taken everything. Chains. You know where rappers got the idea of wearing big chains and jewelry? The drug dealers. Because the drug dealers would be the flashy guys. They would have the fur coats. They would have the minks. They would have the big hats. They would have the big chains. That's where they got that from. That's where the rappers got that from. Originally, the first starting, you know, that's where they got it from. Because they wanted to look fly. So that's where the big chains and everything came from, right? I want y'all to understand something. I don't think people know this, especially in England. American media is so I won't say one-sided. What's the word I'm looking for? We don't get the rest of the world news, right? We don't know what's going on in England. We can't tell you unless it's a big thing like a shooting, a bombing, a natural disaster. We don't hear anything about what's going on in England. We don't. But our news somehow spreads because I guarantee you right now, in England, y'all know what went on in D.C. Or y'all know what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. Or the activists that got locked up in D.C. I guarantee y'all probably heard about that via the news. We don't get if that happened over in London. We won't know about that. We won't know if they send the feds from in London to go down to Brixton or down to South London to try to take over to keep crime. We wouldn't hear about that. We wouldn't hear about that over here. U.S. media, we have to go seek that and try to find it. And the fact of the matter is, over here in Black America, we dealing with our own shit that we ain't even trying to see what y'all dealing with over there. We ain't even trying to put that on our plate, and we got what we got to deal with over here. Right? So you got to understand the U.S. media is not showing us that, what's going on over there. Or in any other country, unless it's something major. We have to go actually seek that. Even the world news, we can get the world news over here, but they only showing certain things. But they're not going to show us what's in the trenches or what's going on in the black communities in London or France or whatever like that. They're not going to show us that. Then y'all tried to down us because a lot of people didn't know that there were black Scottish people, right? And what's so crazy is about that, the black Scottish people were flattered. And then they showed love. Now watch what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you how black Americans work. We hating as people just for no reason. Because what you hating on us for? What did we do to y'all for y'all to hate on us like that? Nothing. So what's going to happen is y'all going to see the black Scottish people, their numbers are going to go up on TikTok, Instagram. If they got a business, guess what we're going to do? We're going to patronize that business. So start following some black travel pages on Instagram like Travel Noir, Black Travel Ground, Black Travel Feed. I guarantee within the next year, there are going to be packages of trying to get people to go to Scotland. And what they're going to do is they're going to seek out these black businesses and we're going to patronize them. And once we get a hold of it, guess what? Everybody's going to start flocking. And we're going to start supporting. The thing about us over here in Black America is we're going to support who support us and show love to us, who stand with us and show love to us. That's what we're going to do. We have no problem with that. But if you're going to hate on us for no reason, we did nothing that I can think of. We did nothing to the black people in England. And the only thing I can think of is somebody said they don't like beans and toast on toast. We don't eat that. We don't eat that. And what's crazy about it is y'all defending the food that's not even y'all's originally. It's England's. Y'all claim y'all from West Africa, y'all from Jamaica. Why y'all defending the food that's not yours? We know for a fact, if we go to London, we hitting the Jamaican spot. We hitting the Indian spot so I can get me some chicken biryani and chicken tikka masala, which ironically, England made that their national dish. They stole that too. We're going to hit Nigerian food, get the jollof. We're going to go to Ghana to get the jollof. We're going to go to Senegal to get the jollof. And I'm talking about not the country, but I'm talking about in England. And we're going to see who got the best food. We know the Chinese food going to hit. We know the Thai food going to hit. We know the ethnic food going to hit because we got that over here. The one thing that I can say that we might try that's traditionally British is fish. Fish and chips. Now, if it ain't hitting, it just ain't hitting. So y'all can't tell me that this all started because somebody didn't like beans and toast. We don't eat that. The only time we eat beans like that, which we would call like baked beans or beanie weenies, we would put those beans in hot dogs. That used to be, they call that the struggle meal, right? Or we eat baked beans at a barbecue. But we don't just eat beans for breakfast unless we have a leftover barbecue plate that we warmed up for the morning to eat for breakfast. That is the only time we eat beans like that. Listen, I done had blood sausage. It's not my thing. I had blood sausage in Korea. That's not my thing. That's not a thing for everybody. But like I seen the rage bait video that some young, some youths from from the UK came over to Waffle House. I don't know what state they was in, but they tried grits. Now, as a person that frequents Waffle House, I know what they grits look like. So what they purposely did is look like they waited and let them grits get cold so they were thick. And you can't let grits cool like that because they're gonna get thick and it's not gonna be point to eat. But they didn't put no salt, no pepper, no butter on it. We wouldn't even let you get away with putting sugar on it because that's a little debate. You know how y'all have who got the best Jollof rice? Our debate is grits. Should it be salt and pepper or sugar? Which I'm pretty sure y'all know that because they went to Waffle House and purposely ordered grits. Because who does that if they didn't know that debate was going on? And they let it get thick. So I saw that as a rage bait video to try to say, okay, guess what? We don't care. We know everybody is not going to like our foods over here. Hell, I don't even like all of our foods over here in the United States. So why would y'all expect for us to like all y'all food over there, right? I just didn't understand me. So y'all can't, if y'all that tender about some beans on toast, something is wrong. Something is really, really wrong. And then you know when Adonis Live does his interviews, it says all Americans are dumb. All Americans are dumb. All Americans are dumb, right? Now, they might be right to an extent, but I want to put some things in perspective. When people do, y'all are getting your perspective based on YouTube interviews, TikTok interviews, or whatever. I want y'all to understand these people are out there all day interviewing 20, 30, 40 people. But my job on the internet is to get engagement. I want people to watch my video. So how can I get people to watch my video? Do I do something positive? Because we know a lot of positive videos don't get the views, especially those type of interviews that do that. They don't get the views that you want. The negative ones do. So I'm going to interview 30 people. 20 people got it right, but 10 got all the answers wrong, whether it's like, oh, what country is this? Find this country, find that country. That seemed to be a popular one. And most people can't find it, the one that they show. Of course, I'm going to show 9 people that get it wrong, and I'm going to put one at the end that gets it right because I want to get it. I want to get that engagement because I know people are going to share this video like, man, look how stupid these Americans are. let's share this video. Look how stupid these Americans are. But he's not going to put the 20 people that he interviewed first that got it right, because he wants the engagement. So I want y'all to understand that. One thing about the American education system, if you pay attention, you can learn some shit, because they're going to teach you about America. We don't really learn too much about the rest of the world for real like that. Not too in depth. It's more so surface level stuff versus how we learn about American history in depth over here. And again, we don't consume a lot of British media. We don't consume a lot of British media. The most we consume that is British is y'all actors and maybe R&B singer. Because, you know, again, I think his name is Sam Cooke, Mr. Stay With Me, American Girl, Estelle, Amy Winehouse, who's my favorite. The Back to Black album is fire to me. I still listen to that to this day. Adele, I've been on Adele since she made Chasing Pavements. And it's a new girl that I saw in Colors. I can't think of her name, but she's Caucasian and she has red hair, but she has an amazing voice. Outside of that, most people don't listen to British rap. And I said this, if British rap was as big as y'all make it think it is, why don't they do American tours? Why don't they come over here to the United States? Because it's a bag over here. Shits and Giz came over here and they made a bag by doing touring because they had a lane for them. But well, partially, I'm going to say this. I think two things with British rappers. Because Haiti One said in Ain't It Different, he said, I left my tang in LA. That's why I can't fly to the state, because I got too many convictions. Now, they might have too many convictions, and the United States is not going to allow y'all to come over here with them convictions. But also, they might not be selling the numbers because, again, not too many people can name British rappers. They just can't. And then here comes Drake, and he goes over there and says, oh, did some colonizer shit, in my opinion. He goes, oh, British rappers are better than the United States rappers. He can't battle all the rappers in the United States by himself. So what do? He go to the next best thing where they have the most or equal formidable opponents and say that, and he likes that fire. And then boom, he tried to get the United States rappers versus the American rappers, and he just sit back and just watch and just twiddle his thumb. You know what I'm saying? And they fell. Well, Skepta fell for it. I don't know who said first to Joyner Lucas, and they went back and forth with each other for a little bit, and that was it. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end this this podcast. Listen, to the Black British people out there, we already have, as Black Americans, we already have enough propaganda that was already perpetuated back when Birth of a Nation came out in 1915. All the stereotypes and everything like that. And even till this day, there are still stereotypes and propaganda about Black America. We don't need you all doing their work too. My thing is this: we're fighting the same fight in our respective countries. We're fighting the same fight in our respective countries. We all want equal opportunities. We all want equal equity opportunities. We all want to be respected. So why not come together where we're stronger in numbers and work together and see and have a conversation with one another? Let's teach each other versus going back and forth with each other. Have an open dialogue. Open your ears to listen versus open your ears to respond, because that's what most of y'all do. Y'all open your ears to respond versus listen to understand. You can't understand if you're going to try to talk over somebody. You can't. It's just impossible, right? And like I said, it's no point in hating. But again, if you want to continue to hate, we can show you how when you need us, we ain't going to come to you. We're not going to come to your aid. You see what happened with Target? Now, granted, the CEO technically stepped down, but he's still in a executive position, which he really still gets paid and all that other stuff. But you see how much money they lost. We made a collective decision not to. You see what I'm saying? We made a collective decision not to shop. And it didn't just come from us. It was other people too. But you don't need 100%. Deontay Cal said something. You don't need 100% of Black people to do something. All you need is 75. That's all you need is 75. And you good. But we need to come together and understand for one another. Understand that we know where we come from. Understand that we do have culture that you all use on a daily basis. Sometimes, most of you might not, but we have culture. We're all not dumb. Listen, there are uneducated people in all races, right? And not just the United States. We also understand that, yes, United States food is not the healthiest. We know this. That's not something that you have to tell us. But what choice do we have? Not all of us have land. Not all of us have land to where we can grow food and all that other thing, or live in a climate where you are acceptable, where you can grow stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some people live in Minnesota where it gets cold up there early. Now, I'm blessed to be living in the metro Atlanta area where we stay warm until possibly late October, early November. Yeah, I can have my peach trees, my plum trees, grow okra, grow cabbage, grow corn, grow all this stuff that I usually grow during the spring and the summertime. So we know that. But let's come together. Let's try to see we can come to some common ground. But y'all gotta get that hate up out your heart, champs. We all the same people. We all the same color. We might not be from the same place. We might not sound the same. We might have different ways of thinking. But we're all fighting the same fight in our respective countries. That's the one thing. That's one of the two things that we have in common. We're fighting the same fight, and we're the same complexion as each other. So until next time, next week's episode, y'all be easy. Hug on the ones that you love. Tell the ones that you love them.